Observe? Do you observe the Sabbath and stuff like this? And
We'll light the Shabbat candles before it starts, and we'll have like a Friday night dinner meal. But I don't properly observe Shabbat.
Okay.
I really should start.
Okay. And do you belong to? I'm just interested as well. Do you belong to a particular?
I used to go to a Reformed synagogue.
Okay.
But now I go to Orthodox. When I do go, which isn't very often, I go to an Orthodox synagogue.
Just out of interest, why? Do you find Orthodox is more serious, or?
Like, when I do go, I want to go to the real thing, I guess.
Okay. So you have, I think you have like Reform, isn't it? You have Conservative.
We're not in the UK. Conservative is only in America, really.
Okay. And then you have Orthodox, and then like the famous ones we know.
Black hat guys.
The Hasidic Jews.
Yeah.
Are they considered Orthodox, or are they like?
They are Orthodox.
Are they like Orthodox and then some?
Kind of. So there's modern Orthodox, and then people say ultra Orthodox. People, like a lot of them don't like that word. The main difference is that they're called Haredi.
Okay.
The main difference is they believe that modernity is evil, whereas. Well, not evil, but they believe that modernity is something to be kept away. Whereas modern Orthodox believe that you can be observant and engage with the modern world. That's the main difference.
They remind me a bit like, obviously they have different beliefs, but in, I don't know if you call it in behaviour, they remind me a bit like the Amish.
Not really, because they will use, because their objection, they don't believe in living a primitive lifestyle like the Amish do. Like, they'll have smartphones. Actually, no, they'll have phones, but not smartphones.
Without cameras and stuff, yeah.
So the main problem that they have with phones isn't that it's technology, is that there's a commandment to guard your eyes from evil. And access to the internet means that you can't.
Yeah, it's difficult, very difficult.
Yeah. And so what they'll say, but I think that sometimes they have they're like kosher filters on the internet. I don't even.
I've heard of it. Yeah. So. Obviously, you're not a spokesman for the whole Jewish community, but you believe that God is one.
Yeah.
And you believe
I think any Jew, whether like religious, ethnic, whatever, will say there is at most one God. They're either an atheist or they believe in one God. You never have a Jew goes, I'm a polytheist Jew. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm just so collectively you believe in one God.
Yeah.
Do you believe in messengers? Chosen people to deliver a message or prophet.
Yeah, sure.
And do you believe like Moses is the head one, or the most important?
I guess he's the most important in the sense that like he was the one who gave the Torah at Mount Sinai. He's most important because he's the one who wrote the Torah, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know like if he had any. I don't know if there's anything. I think I can say he's the most important.
Okay.
But I don't think it's like as pronounced as it would be in Islam with Muhammad, where we don't say Moses is a perfect man from all time or anything like that. He's just a prophet who happened to be the most historically significant.
Okay. And so that's God, messengers. What about the hereafter? What's your belief about the hereafter?
It's deliberately vague because we aren't meant to focus on that. We're meant to focus on being good people in this world.
Sorry, you said deliberately vague?
Yeah, Jewish also are deliberately vague about it. So in the actual Torah and in the Hebrew, in the Bible, they just call it Sheol.
Okay.
Which means like the grave, like underneath space. And it's described not in a very positive way. It's like you die, it's a shadowy place. It's not really like happy terms. It's not like and there's more narrative about it, like later writings in like Talmud and stuff like that.
Okay, and are you?
There's a vague idea in general that good behaviour will be rewarded and bad behaviour will be punished, but beyond that.
But that can be in this life and the hereafter, both.
And both. Well, yeah, but there's also the idea that there will be reward and punishment in the hereafter.
Okay, and do you believe in like the Torah and the oral Torah as well, the Talmud?
I guess that's. Do I personally? If I had to say, I probably would say yes. But yeah, that is also a standard opinion.
Oh, that's a standard opinion?
Yes.
Because it was many years ago, I came across a person, said he was a Jewish gentleman, and he only believed in the Torah. He didn't believe in the Talmud.
That's funny that you came across one of them. They're quite rare. They're a group called Karaites.
Yeah, that was the name, Karaites. Yeah.
I've never met one. So,
Okay.
So clearly you're more.
Yeah. No, he because we had a similar, like we call it a dawah store, a store where we were giving dawah. It was in Dalston, and then he came to us and he wanted to have the conversation, and then not to play one group, but he didn't have a high opinion of people who followed the Talmud and stuff like that.
The thing is, the Karaites, they started in the Middle Ages. That movement started in the Middle Ages.
Okay.
In Iraq.
Okay.
And it started because of political reasons.
Okay.
Because the Jewish community in Iraq, was the biggest community, biggest Jewish community at the time.
Yeah.
Was led by a guy called the Exilarch.
Okay.
And in Hebrew it's Rosh Kaluta. It means head of the exile.
Okay.
Because when the first temple was torn by the Babylonians 2,500 years ago.
Okay.
Some of the Jews stayed in Iraq, including some of the descendants of the kings of Judah, from the line of David. And this line survived into the Middle Ages. And so the Jewish community in Iraq was led by this family. And there was some sort of political infighting in this family.
As happens,
Anan Ben David says, I'm cutting off entirely from these guys. I'm telling my own thing. And this political infight leads to this religious split. You have to understand that the Talmudic academies in Iraq, their patron was this figure, was the Exilarch. He was the patron of the academies. He funded them, he sort of in a way led them. And so you can see how a political fight would lead to a religious split here.
You seem quite well read on this. Is this because you're interested, so you read it, or is this you're told these things many times?
I think I'm just well read. So I'm interested. I like history.
Okay. No, because I was just wondering, some of the things you said, is it because you would have learned that in your school, or you learned it in a community?
They taught us vaguely what Karaites were at school.
Okay.
I don't actually remember what each other taught.
But they're a very small group, yeah? Is that what you're saying?
There's not many of them.
Okay.
And I don't even know there was a community of them in London.
Okay.
I don't know if you could find a Karaite synagogue in London.
No, I met him, it must be over 10 years ago, and then by meeting him, I was just interested. I was curious about what they believe, so I just looked up a few videos, but it didn't seem like a big community. Obviously, it's quite interesting because I live in East London and we're here. Mostly we talk to Christians.
I can imagine,
and atheists, or people who are, they'll say, I believe in God, but I'm not sure. But we don't really talk with people who identify themselves as Jews very often. So when the word chosen people is used, how do you understand that?
It means very literally we were given a covenant.
Okay.
That's it. And if you either converting is a lengthy process. Not many people do convert because we don't encourage people to convert. If they want to convert, they can. It's a lengthy process.
Okay.
And otherwise, if you're born to a Jewish mother, these two categories mean you're chosen in the sense it's your job to follow the Torah.
Okay.
I mean,
So
there's a midrash. A midrash is
explanation of the Talmud, isn't it?
Midrash is so they're stories in the Torah. It's sort of extra bits. So sometimes not often not literal. They're meant to tell a story. There's a midrash that every tribe was offered the Torah, but only Israel chose. And only the Jews chose it, and so we chose. So the Jews chose to be chosen in that sense.
Okay, but what are the benefits in this life and the hereafter being the chosen people?
The benefits, a lot of people derive a lot of spiritual value from keeping Shabbat and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I think people derive a lot of value from observing the laws. It can be very meaningful towards people. Also, it's tied towards the culture, and it's not like a superiority thing that people on the internet say it is. It's not like a blood supremacy thing.
Obviously that's what we hear all the time. This is the chosen people, and these people are the Gentiles or the Goyim.
Yeah, what do you think the word Goyim means?
Well, I know Goyim is the translated as Gentile.
But what do you think it means in Hebrew? Like, people have some funny ideas. I'm just curious.
I don't know actually.
Because people on the internet say it means cattle. The Jews call everyone cattle, which is very funny.
Okay.
Goy literally means Goy literally means nation.
Okay.
So even the Jews are called a Goy.
Okay.
In the
Okay.
Jewish text.
Okay.
And it became, and then Goyim means nations.
Yeah.
Im makes something plural. Same as in Arabic.
Okay. I think I've
and so Goy means. And then
in Arabic you can make it. Yeah, you can make a singular word a plural by adding. Like you'll have Muslim, Muslimun, or Muslimin.
The same thing in Hebrew.
Yeah.
The Goyim means the nations.
Yeah.
Which just came to mean everyone else who wasn't Jewish.
Okay. Let me just think. From your Jewish teachings, what do you understand is your purpose of life?
The purpose in life, it really depends. The purpose in life would depend on what. Some people would say the purpose is to repair the world.
Okay.
The world is in some sense broken.
I think it's quite, it could be considered broken.
Like physically, not like broken in the sense that the economy is bad or whatever, but like spiritually broken, like metaphysically, like in a deep sense broken.
Okay.
It's like you've broken everything's creation, basically.
Okay.
And then we have to repair it. And the Jews have a special role in doing that repairing by observing the commandments.
Okay.
But that even non-Jews have to observe some other commandments and live moral lives in that purpose.
Okay.
But I'd say like being ethical is an important universal value.
One thing I have some limited reading of the Old Testament. The Bible. You call it the Bible, isn't it? Or the Tanakh, and the Christians would call it the Old Testament, which obviously is a term which you don't hold to. Yeah. But I understood that your tribal affiliation comes from your father. But when you say your mother, how does that work?
Because you get 12 tribes within the Jewish people.
Yeah.
Well, I should say within the Israelites back then. But you had 12 tribes. Your tribal affiliation within those 12 tribes by the father, and the inheritance laws was through the father. But membership in the covenant itself, which encompasses the 12 tribes, by the mother.
I'm just wondering how that works.
So I'll give you an example. If to be Jewish, to be bound by the covenant, you have to have a Jewish mum.
Yeah.
But even today, so most of the tribal identities are gone today. The only one that survives is being a Levi or not.
Okay.
And that you're only a Levi if your father's a Levi. So within the Jewish people, the classification is go by the father, but to be part of the Jewish people is through the mother.
Okay, because in Islam
it's all by the father, right?
No, your tribe is only by the father. But then we don't understand a chosen people. Whether people like it or not, we do classify between believers and disbelievers. But we would say anyone who believes and accepts, they can enter into Islam, and anyone who rejects or doesn't want to, then they're outside Islam. We wouldn't say it's based on your nationality or your race or your tribal affiliation. But the thing is, when you say you're Jewish and it's by your mother, do you and your tribal association, like for example, you don't know when you said that the Levites are known.
So my surname is actually Levi.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But that doesn't mean that I'm a Levite. Because what I think happened is when my ancestors moved here, they had some unpronounceable name, and so they got given a name to the guy.
Okay. Is the Levites, are they known as Kohan or?
Cohen is a subsection within Levites. So Cohen was a priest in the temple.
Do they still hold that title today?
We still have Cohens today, and have special roles.
But would they have a special role inside the synagogue that no one else can have?
Yeah, it's such a blessing. It's a blessing to be a Kat Kohanim.
Okay.
The blessing of the Cohen.
Okay. But what I'm just because you have obviously Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. You understand that Jacob was given the title Israel, and then his 12 sons are the tribes of Israel.
But however, Abraham has 2 sons, as you know, Ishmael
and Isaac. Yeah,
Isaac, and Ishmael's a different brother.
Yes.
Now and then Isaac has different sons as well.
Yes.
He has Yusuf and Yaakov and Jacob.
Yes.
And Yusuf becomes a different nation. He becomes
the Edomites.
Yes. So clearly, it isn't just by even back then. It isn't just by the father. Because Abraham has many different sons in that sense, and many different nations. Midian also comes. Abraham has another wife after Sarah as well. Midian comes from him. Lots of nations come from him. But who does everyone come from? If you look at Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, Rachel, their children are the ones who actually become foundational Jewish people. So even back then, you can see the importance of the mothers.
But I don't see that. You know why I don't see that? It's just before that. The point I wanted to understand is, do you believe that someone such as yourself or someone in your community, that they can actually trace their generation to generation through the father back to Abraham?
It depends. I mean, some people, again, there are converts, there are people, I mean, because
the thing is,
but that's not even important. Because there's definitely some. I mean, definitely some of that. But even these are like 3 guys. What the Torah says is you became a nation in Egypt. Yusuf and then his brothers after go down to Egypt. And that's when they go from being a big family, extended family, to a proper tribe. And then they get enslaved, and then they leave, etc., etc. So you can see, I mean, they were obviously marrying people around them even back then.
Because that's my point.
But yes, we do believe that, I guess, the 12, if you are membership in the 12, I'm not exactly sure how the legal system back then would have worked. But it was all to do with, the tribal thing, I think, is a lot to do with like land rights and property rights. And because when they conquer the land, they get divvied up between the tribes.
What I understand from what I read of the Bible is, in the time of Joshua and stuff, when they conquered Canaan, then each tribe would have a land appointed to them. So I understand that. But if someone is saying that the blessings and the promises are through Isaac, through Jacob, and then
the Judaism that practice today is from Sinai.
Okay. Yes.
The covenant start really at Sinai. You can say it's prefigured to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. The circumcision comes from Abraham. But the covenant, the Torah comes from Sinai, and that's when we became. You can say people like proto-Judaism or something, like some tribe that related to Judaism, but it wasn't really Judaism before Sinai.
Because this is a English translation, and it's a Christian translation. So maybe you may feel that the wording is incorrect or etc.
I'd recommend Sefaria for the best translations.
But here it said, this is Genesis 17:21. But my covenant will I establish with Isaac, with Sarah, which Sarah shall bear unto thee at this set time in the next year.
So it's continuing.
And I think it comes in 19. Here, Genesis 17:19. Maybe I heard sometimes the Jewish Tanakh could have different numbering as well.
Yeah, I think in some cases. Both.
So it says here, and God said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son, indeed.
So there are different interpretations. Some people say that matrilineal descent was only established at Sinai. Some people say that even in this case, the covenant is established with Isaac, and it gets passed down through his wife.
But it says, so if I just read the verse, and God said, Sarah, thy wife, shall bear thee a son, indeed, and thou shalt call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him.
I understand what you're saying. It would do with the seed.
So
it would go by the seed. Is that what you're saying?
That's the apparent meaning of it.
I think it's very. I think it's pretty clear that seed should be taken at least somewhat loosely there.
So no,
because even Isaac, seed was also Edom. No one will claim the Torah thinks that the covenant goes through to the Edomites.
But that's my point.
Like who is the seed? Because who is the seed of Isaac? Is it literally everyone who has a Y chromosome which shared with Isaac, or is it the nation which he would forget, which he would which he would lead to starting?
That's not my exact point. My exact point is, if these people are that God has an everlasting covenant with them, and it will go through the line of Isaac, through the line of Jacob, through the 12 tribes, which wouldn't include the Edomites and the Midianites, etc.
Even though they are descendants of these guys.
Yeah, even though they're descendants of Abraham and Isaac, but not of Jacob.
No, not of Jacob.
My point is, according to, if we go by so-called, I use the term loosely because I could be wrong, biblical history, that's approximately like 4,000 years ago.
Yes.
Give or take.
Yeah, sure.
So my question is, how could someone in this time, 2026, I remembered, how can they actually, whether it's by the mother or whether it's by the father, actually with certainty say, yes, I am those people that God has chosen? And obviously you said it's not an arrogant superiority term, it's just
right.
But how can someone say 4,000 years later, given the history,
because it isn't purely.
You have exiles, you have enemies coming into Jerusalem. You have people taken into slavery.
Yeah.
You have, I think, in the book of Nehemiah and stuff like this, where these people who are considered prophets who are criticizing the nation of Israel for marrying their women outside the tribes, and you have so many incidents where people are marrying outside the tribes, whether they're criticized or whether it's acceptable. So I just find it very difficult to imagine that someone today can say, yes, I am from the chosen people.
That's one of the miracles the Jews are most proud of, that Jewish identity survived during 2,000 years of exile.
Yeah.
If you look at the way the exile was, the Jewish communities in Europe lived separately. They lived in ghettos and shtetls, and they had their own courts until the modern times, until Napoleon broke down the walls of the ghetto. The Jewish community had their own courts. No one wants to marry. If a Jew married a non-Jew, they want raising a Jewish family. Why would anyone want to marry into a persecuted minority?
You can say that's in Europe, but I'm talking about in Babylon, in Persia.
Because I'm covering you said 4,000 years ago. I'm talking about a 2,000 year chunk of that 4,000 years. It's quite, okay. Let's take it piece by piece. And before 2,000 years ago, you've got a state essentially. You've got central institutions. You've got a Sanhedrin. You've got a temple. You've got you have the institution, and we still have these institutions to a lesser extent. For example, it's very important if you want to get married in a synagogue, you show your parents' ketubah, a marriage contract. Proof of your identity. It's a very important thing to preserve generation to generation. And in cases where it can't be, what is done, it's called a giyur l'chamra or something like that. I don't really remember exactly. What it basically is it's a conversion for the sake of safety. Like, we're pretty sure you're actually Jewish, but we can't be 100% certain, so we're going to have you convert just in case. That has been done historically in edge cases. For example, like the Moranos in Spain, who were forced to convert to Christianity, who practiced Judaism in secret. And when they left Spain, re-entered Jewish communities.
So what's the difference between Morano and Sephardic?
Not all Sephardis are Moranos,
but Morano is someone who is Jewish,
who was forced
to go into Christianity and then wants to come back.
And then once they left Spain, were able to stop hiding their identity. Because most of the Jews. So
they're Sephardic, but they're due to a particular thing which happened to them in history, they're given that title.
In 1492, the majority of Jews left, but everyone could leave, and they had to live.
The Spanish Inquisition. Okay.
And then before that, the biblical times, the biblical society, and it's almost like it's a whole different proposition back then. It's like, it really is much more. You've got geographic unity first.
Yeah.
You've got these institutions. You've got monarchy. You've got a monarchy. You've got all these different things. It's really it's in the diaspora that preserved identity became a bigger deal.
No, because for example, from an Islamic perspective, like there's a chapter in the Quran called Al-Hujurat, chapter 49, verse 13. It mentions يا أيها الناس إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم إن الله عليم خبير. Yes, it mentions all mankind.
Yes.
So all mankind is being addressed. We have created you from a male and a female, Adam and Eve. And then we made you into nations and tribes in order you may recognize each other. You may, know each other. But then it says, but the closest you to God, who we would consider the chosen people, are the one who fears God the most, the one who has the most awareness, obedience to God, reverence of God. And verily Allah knows and He's all aware.
Yeah.
So we understand, regardless of a person's race, ethnicity, tribal origins, etc. This is only how we recognize each other. Like, for example, we may say this brother is a West Indian, I am English, this brother is Bengali. So we recognize each other. But it doesn't affect our standing with God.
Yeah.
But me, when I come across where it's Judaism or people who claim, even Christianity, they give some precedence to people who they consider to be Israelites. Like, I'm sure you don't accept it, but Christians would believe that once they accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior, that they are grafted in to Israel, which I'm sure you don't accept. But the point is that they give some spiritual significance to. But I don't understand how a person can say 4,000 years we've had exiles, we've been taken into slavery, our enemies have destroyed the temple twice. We have in the Old Testament we have accounts of people marrying non-Israelites. We have is it Nehemiah and I think is it not Hezekiah. Ezekiel, no. I think it's Ezekiel and Nehemiah, where they actually emphasize the importance, according to the Old Testament, the Tanakh, the Torah, that Israelites have to marry Israelites.
Even today, it's considered a bad act.
No, but if this happened, marrying out, I don't know how someone today can say, yes, I am a descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
We have an unbroken tradition of practicing the religion.
Yeah.
Even during diaspora, we have an unbroken tradition of communities preserving our religious tradition, despite the persecution that come with it. I mean, when you think about it, take like rabbinical writings, for example. The Talmud was burnt in Paris and in many, made illegal in European countries. But despite this, we still have this massive corpus of rabbinical writing. And it's a miracle, and it really is like something it's something that many rabbis will say. This is a miracle that Judaism survived this in the way that it did, because there still is this Jewish tradition. I mean, for example, the liturgy, Jewish prayers, we believe, so some of the oldest parts were written in the Second Temple period.
Second Temple period, what would that be, like?
2,500, 2,000 years ago.
Okay.
And so things like
how do you trace back those particular prayers to 2,500 years ago?
Well, I'm not exactly sure about the historiography of it.
Okay.
But the Mishnah is written in the 2nd century, and the Mishnah will describe these prayers as being very old for that time.
Okay. But even then,
you have this unbroken religious tradition. I mean, I don't really understand why it's so implausible to say that there is this continuous tradition. I mean, we're not the only one.
No problem. But no, because if so much importance is given to it, or the spiritual status is given to it, I wouldn't say it's upon someone else to disprove it. I would say it's the one who makes the claim that this is what God wants and we're those people. I would want to know how they establish it, because when you say that,
I would say it's on you to make the claim, because your religion is a proselytizing one, not mine.
No. But I'm not claiming to be from the descendant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
No, but it is different. I'm not trying to convert you to my religion.
No problem.
I don't. Because because to us, it doesn't matter whether or not you believe that, like,
that's fine.
There is this tradition.
Yeah.
It matters a lot to people, to Muslims, that that I don't believe that, and I accept the message of Muhammad.
Yeah.
So the claim, the burden of proof is not me, because I don't need to try and prove anything. Do you see what I mean?
No, I understand what you mean. If we were now talking about Islam, like, because the conversation now we haven't discussed that.
Well, no, because we're making theological claims here.
Yeah. Sorry, can I just finish?
Yeah.
If the conversation was, I mean, the conversation may go there, it may not. If the conversation started where I've said, which is our belief, that Allah deserves to be worshipped alone, that Quran is the final revelation, that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a messenger for all mankind, and obviously we believe, regardless of who a person is, whatever their belief is, we believe they have to worship Allah alone, and they have to accept the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the final messenger. And this is the distinction between paradise and hellfire for eternity. So if this was the conversation, then yes, the burden of proof would be upon me. But I was generally trying to understand. But when you say that someone is a chosen people, and obviously you explained that you don't understand that in an arrogant or superiority way. That's what you mentioned. When you say chosen people, I understand that would mean that they are descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Necessarily. I mean, even King David's grandmother was a Moabite. She converted. So she converted to. Calling it Judaism is a bit of an anachronism. That word didn't exist. But she converted. She converted, and so she joined the Covenant. And by converting, she joined the Covenant. Even and this is 3,000 years ago. In fact, conversion to Judaism is largely modelled on the story of Ruth. When we looked to see what it should look like, we looked to the story of Ruth. As a major example, as a paradigmatic example of it. And so even then, you can there was conversion. So it isn't just about literal ancestry. It's about passing on tradition from generation to generation. Which has been done. That's an empirical fact. It's a Jewish tradition that's been passed on generation to generation.
Is empirical fact?
Yes.
How far can you trace it back to?
Well, at least to ancient Israel. At least to before the exile. You can say when does so the question is, when does Judaism enter the historical record? And that's debate. That's debatable. But you could say from the time Judaism enters the historical record to today, there is no time where it's disappeared or it replaced by something else.
But when do you believe from your studies that it entered the historical record?
Well, it's a very tough one, because the word Israel is first mentioned unequivocally 3,200. I'm alright, thanks.
No, alhamdulillah, I'm good.
It first comes into historical record.
Alhamdulillah, barakallahu feekum. Alhamdulillah, barakallahu feekum. Inshallah, ba'd inshallah.
I'm okay, thanks.
Ba'd al-kalam inshallah, barakallahu feekum.
The word Israel was first mentioned 3,200 years ago in an Egyptian text. It's quite funny, actually. The first undisputed mention of the word Israel is the Egyptian pharaoh bragging that they've destroyed Israel, that it no longer exists anymore. Well, I mean, it's a bit ironic. That's the first ever mention of the word Israel. There's another one from 3,400 years ago that people believe probably says Israel, but the text is damaged, so we can't know for certain. But whether that's Judaism into historical record, it's disputable. Because you can also say, people would say even the first temporary Judaism was very different to the second temporary Judaism that evolved. I
have heard that, but I haven't really read about it.
I mean, even the Tanakh talks about how there was lots of idolatry at the time. It was a big problem.
So no, because that's.
But I don't see how that's like a whole that's like a whole debatable subject. When does it enter historical record? But from the time it does enter historical record, you can say that there is this tradition. There is which has been established.
No, because from our perspective, obviously we understand that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a descendant from Ismail, and we understand that he's a final messenger for all mankind, as I stated. But I mean, obviously people they agree and they disagree, but we understand Islam as we have it today. We can trace it back to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he believed about Allah, what he believed about the angels, what he believed about books, what he believed about messengers, what he believed about the last day, how he worshipped, how he practiced Islam, how he ran a state, how he fought wars, how he made peace. But can you? But I don't.
Why do we need to trace it back to Abraham? We can trace it back to Ezra.
But
and
can
that's 2,500 years ago. You can trace it back
But can you?
Well, yeah. I mean, Ezra. I mean, even historians who say that, even the secular ones say the Torah was written much later, had nothing to do with Moses. These are all mythical figures.
Yeah.
Who said that Ezra. The narrative that secular historians say.
What's the time period of Ezra?
It was after the Babylonian exile,
which is around
2,500 years ago.
Okay.
You're Muslim, so you believe in Ezra. You call him. I don't know.
Uzair.
Yes. So he's a prophet. You would say he's a prophet as well.
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Fine.
No. He's mentioned in the Quran, but he's not referred to as a messenger or a prophet. But
the end of prophecy happened in the early Second Temple period.
Okay.
Right after the Babylonian exile, and we know that Judaism existed at this time. We know that there was.
But
it's well documented.
But can you trace? But these beliefs, can you trace it back to Moses? Can you trace it back to Abraham? Or do you believe because later writings existed with a gap of 500 years, 1,000 years?
No, we can't trace them back to Abraham. Abraham lived 4,000 years ago. There probably wasn't even. We didn't even have alphabets at the time Abraham lived. The first alphabet had the evidence.
But can you trace it back to Moses?
Not in the historical record, no.
No, even outside the historical record.
What do we trace it back then?
Like, for example, the beliefs which you have and the books which you have, which you say, you did mention earlier that you believe they were written by Moses.
Yes.
Do you still call it Genesis, Exodus?
Yeah.
But in a different. Okay.
Yeah.
So those 5 books which you say were written by Moses, can you trace them back to Moses?
What would that tracing back look like? I'm confused what you mean by that. Because in the religious text, in the Tanakh, it's very clear that you've got Moses, and then you've got Joshua, and then you've got the judges, and then you've got the temple, and the priest, and the king, and the prophet, and you have the second temple, and the second temple gets destroyed, and then yada. But if you accept that narrative, I don't know what tracing back would look like to you. If you mean, can I have historical evidence that an atheist would believe and go, oh right, that's it, Torah goes to Moses? No, of course not.
No, not necessarily an atheist, but even for yourself. Like, do you believe it based on this is the tradition which has been given to me?
Yeah.
Or do you believe?
That would be the basis for believing it.
So, not to be disrespectful. So, because your forefathers told you, that's why you believe it.
Well, it's definitely a big part of it. I mean, we believe in reverence for our forefathers. We believe and all of that stuff. But how else are you meant to pass down a tradition from 4,000 years ago?
No, because the thing is, if you claim it, then you should be able to have evidence that this is from God. This is what God wants.
Sorry, why would you treat a religious claim like a scientific claim? Religious claims and scientific claims are categorically different.
Why would it be different?
Because religious claims are not empirically provable.
but you're still saying that.
Like if I was to ask you, how would you go about empirically proving? Beyond scientific doubt, beyond reasonable doubt, that Muhammad was a prophet, you wouldn't be able to do it. I think if you want to be honest, you have to accept there is an element of faith involved in religion.
No, but faith
there's an element of faith, and there's an element of faith doesn't just be.
No, faith has to be built upon evidence.
to an extent, but it cannot be. But faith does not mean.
I'll look at it after. So, yeah.
I agree with you. Maybe to an extent, you have to go by evidence. You don't want a belief to be totally irrational. However, you can still not prove these religious claims in the way that you can prove a scientific claim. You cannot observe a religious claim that you can observe.
Yeah. I'm not asking you for a video or something like this.
Well, that's kind of what you are. You're asking me for proof of a religious tradition going back to Abraham, and I'm not really sure what that would even look like. And what is that? Because you're asking me for empirical proof of a theological claim.
No. I'm saying that if we were saying that people today are the chosen people,
which is a theological claim. That isn't an empirical claim. It's a theological claim. You're asking for an empirical claim.
But it's a theological claim.
Yes.
Based on what is written in a book.
Yes.
Okay. The book of Genesis.
Yes.
Just out of interest, on a side point, what do you call the book of Genesis?
Hebrew, it's Bereshit.
Bereshit. Okay. So I'll say it's easier for me.
Yes.
So in the book of Genesis, if it makes a claim,
yes,
I would want some kind of support, some kind of reason, some kind of evidence to say.
What kind of evidence would that look? What would be that kind of evidence?
That Moses wrote it and Moses received it.
Really? So you want to find a rock from 2,300 years ago saying, I am Moses, I was here.
Do you have that rock? No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying.
No, I do not have that rock.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that have claimed that they found evidence of the Exodus.
But would you expect first-hand testimony from Moses himself?
How would that first-hand testimony look like? Because some would say that is what the Torah is. But if you want something which will be carbon dated or dated some other way to the time of Moses, saying I am Moses, I was here, that seems like.
No, that's not what we're asking.
That's not what we're asking.
What kind of evidence are you looking for?
I'm going to come to it. I would say there's one thing which is a claim.
Yes.
And then second is once a claim is made, then we would look for evidence for the claim.
I understand that. What would you consider to be important to be evidence of a kind of a claim?
So I will come to that. But the thing is, I understand that the Jewish people are making this claim.
Right.
That Genesis was given to Moses, written by Moses, etc.
Well, it's not just us who make that claim. I mean, even you. I know even Christians have to make that claim.
Yeah, Christians make that claim as well. So
you'd have to make a similar claim that there was. I mean, that there was a band of Israel in Arabic.
Yes.
And that they had a covenant with Musa, as you would say.
Yes.
In fact, you'd have to make the claim that this covenant was corrupted at some point.
Yeah.
So it's not just us who have to make the claim. You would have to make a similar claim.
Yeah, when I make my claim, I will give what I consider evidence.
So what's your evidence? I'm curious.
Well, we'll come to this one first.
Well, I'm curious because it's a deeper question. What is the evidence? The important question is, what do you consider to be valid evidence? How can we talk about evidence if we don't have an idea about what evidence even looks like?
I hold me to it. I will come to that. But when it comes to the book of Genesis,
yes.
Before even evidence,
yes.
I would look for the claim being made in Genesis that Genesis is from God. Mm-hmm. Genesis was revealed to Moses. Moses wrote the book of Genesis. And I understand that when we say Genesis is from Moses, I understand it to be an external claim. I don't believe
to what? Sorry.
External to the Old Testament. I don't see the Old. Not the Old Testament.
What do you mean it's a claim external to the Old Testament? That it's that it's literally true, that it can be verified archaeological evidence. What do you mean by external?
I'll say the idea that
claim about the world.
The book of Genesis. The book of Genesis. If you read Genesis from beginning to end,
yes.
you won't find that I, Moses, wrote this down. I, Moses, received this from God, or this is the word of God. I understand that this is an external claim made by the Jewish people and the Christian people. Yeah. So before even evidence, I would say the book itself doesn't even make that claim.
No, that's right, yeah. But the book of Genesis isn't actually really a book. I mean, traditionally, a Torah scroll, a scroll, all 5 books on one scroll.
Yeah, it's still a writing though. I mean, it's not like...
It's all together though. I mean, it's not like, they were never separate. You never like, maybe in a modern printout of a Bible, but traditionally, I mean...
It was a scroll.
It's one scroll with everything on it.
Yeah.
And so, saying that it's like saying, if you get like a book, and like you find a chapter in the book, and you get this chapter isolated from the book, and say, well, this chapter in particular doesn't say that it's written by this author, but it's part of a book, and that book was written by this author. So you can't isolate Genesis from the rest of the 5 books.
Okay, so the five if we use the term 5 books, do the 5 books claim that these 5 books?
Yes, they do, and it ends with Moshe's death. The only part there's any debate about is the end of the final book. Which takes place after Moshe's death, and some people say that was written by Joshua. Some say that was revealed that what would happen after Moshe's death was revealed to Moses, he wrote it down, and then he died.
Okay.
That's the only thing that you can argue about there. However, yes, the book does claim that it's Moshe writing it down. It is being revealed to Moshe.
I'm aware. I'm aware that if we can we use the word Torah for the 5 books?
Yes.
I'm aware that the Torah says that Moses was commanded to write, and that